Should Timmy have left,
Psst.
or
Come
is
on,
he
man.
doing the right
Stop.
thing for Timmy?
Stop. You know that dude ain't gonna do nothing in the NBA. Stop it.
On today's Throwdown Thursday edition of the Yacht Coaches Podcast, Dr. Adams and Coach Francis discuss college basketball players making their NBA draft decisions, review news about the Big 12, provide their thoughts on returning to coaching, as well as begin their formal preparation for the upcoming college football season. Welcome to today's show. Dr. Keith Adams is the president of the CKA SAVE Project, a nonprofit organization designed to assist student athletes and the people who work with them through educational and professional development. He is a career academic and athletic leader with close to 30 years of experience on the high school and college levels. He has won numerous championships and epitomizes professionalism. Coach Mike Franchise Francis is one of the most successful football and basketball coaches in the state of Maryland. He, too, is a career academic and athletic leader with close to 30 years of experience on the high school and college level and is self-admittedly a little rough around the edges. Both men have mentored countless student athletes, teachers, and coaches using their unique methods and approaches to leadership. Both men also share a unique and special friendship that was cultivated often through their unique perspective of life and leadership. Dr. Adams through his extensive educational background and Coach Francis through his life experiences. Can these two men share a podcast without driving each other crazy? Welcome to the Yacht Coaches Podcast.
All right. Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Yacht Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with me today is my tag team partner, the Uncle Elmer, to my cousin Luke in the WWF, the icon, the showstopper, the main event, and the reason why we are here, Coach Mike Francis. And Coach, with me being in West Virginia for this taping, I did a lot of country boy stuff and country girl things, and I hope you're well. And fans, I hope the internet holds up. How are you today, sir?
I'm well, sir. Well, and you?
Man, I'm enjoying West Virginia. It's a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live here because there's not a lot of action, and snow in the winter is not my friend. So on this Throwdown Thursday edition of the Yacht Coaches Podcast, we are going to talk about college basketball players making decisions, talk about the Big 12 and a whole bunch of other stuff as we get close to formally kicking off college football. But in segment one, you tell me, should I stay or should I go? Duke, Trevor Keels is keeping his name in the NBA draft. He is projected as a 26th pick, according to some draft analysts, and he is one of the youngest players to be picked at just 18 years old. What do you think, man? Should he have stayed, or hey, if it's time to go, it's time to go?
If he's doing well enough, I mean, it'll be indicated like he'll get his reports. We'll find out for sure. You know, we can make a call. I know one person we'll find out about off the air real quick. We'll get that answer. We'll get that answer.
Well, if he's projected to be a first-round pick and first-round money is guaranteed, onward and upward, but it's still your journey.
Yes.
So we're going to go to the other side of the country and go to Gonzaga. And Drew Timme announced Wednesday that he was withdrawing from the NBA draft and returning to Gonzaga for another season. And now Mark Few, man, he's got another bomb squad again with a lot of experience. Should Timme have left, or is he doing the right thing for Timme?
Stop. You know that dude ain't gonna do nothing in the NBA. Stop it.
So he's gonna take his NIL money and they're gonna have a good season.
And another bomb squad that will lose in the Final Four. That's what's gonna happen.
All right, Kentucky, Jacob Toppin, and I believe that's Obi Toppin's little brother. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Announced in a video message that he's withdrawing from the NBA draft and coming back to Kentucky. So, Mike, Kentucky's going to be a little older next year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not something Calipari's used to over the last decade.
No.
What are you thinking about that?
I think this puts them in the top 4-5 teams with this experience. He's not rebuilding. Guys kind of know, so it'll be a little easier to get through as they get started as long as they stay healthy. I'm always going to be a Calipari fan and for what he's done for kids and allowed them to do in their families, where he's really pushing for, social justice as well as, the socioeconomic status of these young men, not holding them back. A lot of people don't like certain people to be millionaires, but tennis players, golfers, and, people like that, baseball players out of high school, all them can do that. But basketball players, nah, we can't give you no money. We don't want you to have it.
All right. And we'll end this portion of the segment with Michigan. Michigan lost two. Standout freshman Caleb Houston and Musa Diabate will not be coming back. Houston's projected again to go in the first round, and I don't know about Diabate. Any thoughts on that? How big of a gap is that for Michigan?
I'm sure that Coach Howard is definitely going to maybe have a setback for that for a little bit, just a replacement, but he'll figure it out. And again, if a young man is, if he's good enough, we're going to find out right away. First round money is all they're looking for, right?
A guaranteed deal and another bite at the apple. So with that, fans, we're going to take a brief break, and on the other side, talk more Big 12 money here on the Odd Coaches Podcast.
Why should student athletes use the CKA SAVE Project academic and athletic consulting services? Over the past 15 to 20 years, colleges, universities, professional sports teams, business organizations, and others have increased their use of consulting services to improve their decision-making processes and results. Over the same time, the athletic and academic landscape has changed for high school and college student athletes as the NCAA has raised initial academic eligibility requirements for student athletes while decreasing the number of transfer restrictions. Former college student athletes have noted that they were academic and athletically unprepared for the rigors of college. Let the CKA SAVE Project's close to 30 years of academic and athletic experience help guide student athletes to increase success as we work to help student athletes achieve the goal of obtaining a college degree. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast, and in segment 2. We're going to talk money again because the Big 12 Conference will distribute, wait for it, Mike, a record of $426 million of revenue to its 10 schools, a nearly 25% increase over last year and 10% higher than its peak before the pandemic. I hope they save that money, sir, because Texas and Oklahoma are leaving. What do you think about that amount going to those Big 12 schools? And again, Texas and Oklahoma are leaving. You better save it.
We starving, right? And that is a problem. That's 40-something million a school, right?
This is monopoly money, man.
It's 40-something million a school. We building something. We building a new dorm. 40 million. We building something, baby. We building something. We got a new dorm. We got to put a percentage in the athletic facilities, take those non-revenue generating sports, take care of them real quick. Like, come on, man.
Well, the Big 12 will have a new commissioner, hopefully, before the start of football season, and they're using a national search firm, so we wish them well.
Any names you heard?
I have not heard any names at all, and because everybody's leaving, well, I should say everybody's leaving. Texas and Oklahoma's a big loss. You got Cincinnati coming in, you got UCF coming in, and somebody I'm forgetting off the top right now. That's not Texas and Oklahoma money-wise, so is BYU coming in? Maybe it was them. I'm not sure. But anyway.
Texas, big money.
Texas is big money. When do you know when it's time to come back? This is going to be more on me than Mike, but there was an article done this week with Gene Chizik, an ESPN, who has been out. He's the former Auburn coach and longtime coach, and he's coming back to help Mac Brown at UNC. And he left. Shucks, he could have had jobs, but he spent more time with his family, did some TV work, and now he's moved to Chapel Hill. His kids are kind of, taken care of. But, man, what I wanted to know, Mike, is when do you know when it's time to come back? Because you've stepped away and come back. I've stepped away, haven't come back. what will go into your decision making process before I kind of talk about mine?
The right fit. I always wonder about the right fit because right now it's just not about you. Once you reached a certain level, you're not trying to get to a status as a coach because unfortunately, it's a team sport. But as a coach, we set these goals as individuals to be at a certain level. But now that decision has to come that you encompass everything into that decision. Now you think about family. Now you think about everything. Like now that I've, remarried, I have a stepdaughter now. So how does this affect everything that we do? I have stepson. How does that affect it? That's the major thing. So when you look at jobs at this point to get back in, you have to look at those as opposed to before you just wanted that next job, So I think that's the biggest thing.
And you spoke a lot about me. My son is going to be in high school soon. I want to be around for those things. And fit is a big deal. And there's a certain way I'd like to do business as a coach. It's not a right way or wrong way. It's a preferred way. And that stakeholder alignment that we talk about in the book, that we've talked about on the show, that is something that has to be very, very important. I know you have worked for leaders who've been aligned with your vision and success has happened. I know you've worked in your past with leaders who've not been aligned with your vision. And although you were successful, the stress of the lack of alignment does cause trouble. I've been too. So those are the kind of things that I'm looking at. And also through CKA, when you bring in like-minded people as I am needling my partner after week to say, you know what would it take for you to do this, and this, create that environment, not just for basketball, but maybe track and conditioning and some other things. So that's kind of what's going to go into my, thought process. Any final thoughts before we start our slow but deliberate transition to college football, sir?
No, just remembering one of the things also is leadership, proper leadership. You want to work for the right people.
Yes, indeed. So when we get back on the other side in our last segment, we're just going to introduce college football to you. We're about 100 days out of that. And talk about some of the top storylines and things going on with college football on the Odd Coaches podcast.
Dr. Keith Adams, president of the CKA Save Project's book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success, is now available for purchase. The book serves as both a memoir of Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes numerous personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues, including former George Mason standout Follering Campbell. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast. In segment 3, if the internet holds up, we're going to talk about top storylines in college football and some initial predictions. So, Mike, top storylines coming up. Lincoln Riley, can he put USC back on top? What do you think, sir?
Yeah, I think he's smooth enough to get it done. I think he's committed, and he's a good recruiter. So I think, as we just said this last segment, it's Jimmy's and Joe's, man. So he can get him in. I think they can turn it around. All
right. Can't wait to talk to our good friend Jake Sharler in a few weeks as we do this. But does Brian Kelly fit at LSU? Brian used to be at Notre Dame, and Jake has his opinions. I can't wait to hear his opinion on Brian Kelly fitting at LSU. What do you think, sir?
That's going to be a good one to watch. I don't know if he fits in. So Notre Dame, I felt like was a good spot for him. personality-wise and everything. So this is going to be a good one to watch to see if he fits into that good old boy down home kind of atmosphere. We're going to see because, it takes special people to be down there, down south and be able to make it.
Right. Can Georgia repeat, Coach? That's going to be a big one. Can we have back-to-back champions? What do you think?
Yes, if we can defensively, if we can get it done, yes. I mean, not we. I mean, if they can get it done defensively, yes. If they can replace the defensive line and a couple other positions, if you see many got drafted, so it's the opportunity. If they've stocked the cabinet well enough defensively, they will be fine.
All right. Can Clemson come back, or are they done, sir?
Can they, or do I want them to? Can they? Yeah, they can. Yeah, I definitely know they can. They will, because I'm sure they had players down there. I'm not sure what happened to make it fall apart, but yeah, they can do it. He's been doing it consistently.
They lost their OC, the DC, and their AD. That's all bad letters. It's all bad math.
And what's the reason for that? Like, why isn't that a story? Let's just,
It will be for us as we get a little more organized, do a little more research.
I want to know why they all jumped. Yeah.
And Michigan, that was a great year for Coach Harbaugh. Can he have another great year, or will it be business as usual, unfortunately, for Michigan?
Maybe he turned over some of the things. He brought some people in. I saw staff, right? Some new staff that he brought in that maybe it's going to help transition. Some people are over, like control freaks, and there's one thing about time goes on in sports. You have to learn when to let go and how to let go and just let them do what they do. So I think maybe they can be as good as they were last year.
All right. And to close out, just a couple of initial predictions that we're going to look at as we do our previews. Is this the year, Mike, that the Pac-12 gets into the CFP? Is this the year that they finally break through?
Do we have nothing else to talk about?
Okay, so this is not the year, so that's not going to be a bold prediction from the OCP. It's not going to be a bold prediction. Will anybody go undefeated this year? Is that a bold prediction?
I haven't seen the schedules, but SEC is going to be tough to go undefeated. You know how that is. That's just the way it is. But we're going to see. But it's going to be tough. Whew.
Yes, indeed. So to close out, we're going to give you just some of the best non-conference games that we think are going to happen. September 3rd, Georgia's going to play Oregon in Atlanta. Now, I don't think that's a big game, but national people think it's a big game. But a Pac-12 school coming into Atlanta in SEC country against the defending national champions, I think that's fattening up frogs for snakes. What do you think, sir?
Fattening up frogs for snakes. Georgia will.
They said that was a big deal. I said, where? Atlanta?
Yeah, exactly. Who? Yeah, on what channel? Yes. What station?
That's a whooping.
The Oregon? Like Georgia? Oregon? Like, okay. Yeah.
All right.
Georgia.
September 3rd, Notre Dame against Ohio State. I think that's a big game. What do you think, sir?
I think it's a big game for the implications for the new coach. That's what I look at it for him. It's his first time out, looking to see how those kids respond and all of
that. I'm good. September 17th. These are games that I care about. Miami against Texas A&M. I like some of the things Miami's doing, although how they fired homeboy was kind of dirty. And Jimbo's got pressure on him, and he better not lose to Miami. What do you think, sir?
I don't even think it's going to be a game. I think Texas A&M wins this,
But De'Aaron King is back, I think, isn't he? Or is that I just overstated that?
Yeah, you really did. You really
did. September 17th, Penn State is playing Auburn. I always like when the Big Ten go against the SEC and Penn State's going into Alabama. They're going into Auburn, Alabama, and James Franklin. I can't wait for the post-game press conference with that.
Well, I mean, shout out James Franklin. He was in that league before, correct?
Yeah, but he was at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, he was at Vanderbilt. He was successful in Vanderbilt. I don't think it's going to be too big of a game for him and his staff and getting his kids ready. I think James Franklin is that guy. And as long as everybody stays healthy, they had issues. We got to give him, last year, that quarterback situation, the injuries, that kind of hurt Penn State for a little bit and having an inexperienced quarterback. But I think Penn State got a shot of beating Auburn in Auburn, man.
All right. And we're going to close out in November with possibly one of my new favorite teams, Notre Dame. And I can't wait to get Jake on to talk about this. So in the month of November, they're going to start the month off. Clemson is traveling to South Bend to play Notre Dame. And then they're going to close the month off with Notre Dame traveling to SC to play Southern Cal. If Notre Dame can win those two games, man, that's something. What do you think about that?
Big time. When you become a Notre Dame fan, man?
BCA, baby, BCA.
When you join
the BCA, when you join the BCA, you get the support, brother. We are rooting for them, and if we don't get these jobs, man, we got to help them out.
Well, I'm a Notre Dame fan to begin with. Always have been. Like I got a jacket upstairs that AJ bought me so long ago. I wore the jacket and everybody thought I was a Notre Dame alum because it looked so official. Like he saved up his money and bought it for me for Christmas. So I was definitely happy about that. And because he knows I'm a Notre Dame fan at heart, that's the school I wanted him to go to. Like I say, there's only two. Notre Dame and Naval Academy was the two schools I wanted to see him go to. So, yeah, I think Notre Dame – the Clemson game is going to be – both of these games are going to be fun to watch. I'll probably be sitting down making sure I'm not doing anything unless I'm writing the paper. But, yeah, so I think both of them will be fun to watch. That's going to be a great storyline to watch all year is Notre Dame.
Yes, indeed. So, Jake, get your notes ready. I know you already probably do. But on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, and questionable internet in West Virginia, I am Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Eye Coaches podcast, and we will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.